Hello, so we're going to continue writing up our lab write-up. So we left off with putting in this data table and centering it. Next, we will go ahead and put in our graphs. So I'm going to come over to Excel. I'm going to click on the white space of either of the graphs, Control C to copy it. And let's see. There we go. And where it says insert your graph here, I'm going to delete that text. Put this graph in, and I can size them up or down, however it needs to see fit. Graphs should be fairly large. Your reader should be able to read them. Then I'm going to go on the right-hand side of that graph, press Enter, maybe twice, so that way I've got some space. This one was my pH. Next, I will move over and pick up my temperature one. So I'm going to click on the white space, click Control C, come on over to the data, or excuse me, the write-up, and that in there. So I'm going to click on the white space again and resize it. I also want to make sure that they're sized to be the same or very similar to one another, especially if they're going to be on the same page. All right, so your analysis section. This is where pretty much like if you think about, hey, you did your control, you did your experimental, there were probably some differences between the two. Like you did your best to control all those variables, but were not perfect. So what could have been different? Maybe you had a different person measure the liquid in the first one versus the liquid in the second one. Then you would write that down, and that could have caused some variability, some unnecessary like noise essentially in your data. Maybe you started measuring at a different time when putting in your Alka-Seltzer. So maybe for the control, you started measuring before the Alka-Seltzer went in versus the experimental, you measured it when the Alka-Seltzer was completely submerged. That would definitely have some room for error. Maybe if you were heating up your Alka-Seltzer, maybe some of it evaporated and you didn't get a full 100 milliliters of that. So again, that could be, heated up your vinegar, not your Alka-Seltzer, heated up your vinegar, and maybe that could have caused it. Let's say you used milk. Maybe the milk was cooler than the vinegar was, and so that could have caused some variability, right? So those are the things that we're looking for, those variables that we tried to control, but we may not have done that. So you're going to write those in here in this analysis. You can use first person, that's totally fine. Like our group did this, I did this. Do not specifically name people of what errors they made. That is just not nice. Instead, you are one big team. So you could say our team made this error because every person represents the team. You also should write out how you would fix it, right? So let's say you used cold milk instead of room temp milk. So you could have written that our group used vinegar that was a different temperature than our milk. In a future experiment, our group would make sure that the milk and the vinegar had the same starting temperature, right? So that is this part of the analysis. With the rest of this document, I'm going to scroll out. So we want to make sure it all looks nice and neat. Like let's say, for example, here, this procedure, I want to make sure that that's all in black, right? Everything should be in black. You're, of course, just filling in your own information. Let's say your data table. Oh, it's over 2 pages here. Yuck. So you can scoot this all the way down so that your data table is on 1 page. You also want to make sure you have spaces between each of the sections as well. Maybe your graph. Look, I've got the text graph here, but my graphs are over here. Yeah. So I will move that over so that it's all in 1 page. I'm going to make sure my graphs are the same size as one another. So that way, that's not they're not also going to be on different pages, right? So this is how it would look. You want to also make sure that it just, again, the overall presentation is good. Everything is filled in. Don't change everything to black until you've finally gone over it. The next thing is sending this to me. So if we click the share, that means that you're sending me, oops, no, this is perfect actually. Instead of just sharing me the document, so here's the deal. If you share the document with me, I may not open it immediately. And so that gives a student an unfair advantage of continuing to work on it while I haven't opened it. That's not okay when everyone else turned it in completely done to begin with. So instead, everyone is going to send me a PDF of this document. And that way it is all good to go. Maybe I should set this up later on. Anyway, so again, send me a PDF of this. Don't just send me the link to it. All right. And if you have any questions on that, let us know. And same thing with the rest of this. All right. So good luck with writing up the rest of your lab rating. Take care.